start a culinary career, though? I mean, to not have any classical training, never gone to school, but to have your very first mentor in that space be like, don't work here anymore. You need more variety, right? It's like traveling the world and just getting to see different cultures and different ideas. And you did that on a micro level. And I think a lot of that comes through in your restaurant now. I mean, your menu is crazy, man. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, but it's so delicious. And if you've never been to Shawn's restaurant, I mean, can you briefly explain? And maybe we'll have to pull up a picture of your your kitchen. But I mean, your dishes are. It looks like it comes from somebody who is very classically trained. I mean, it's very visual, and then of course you dive into it, and the flavors are out of control. How do you do all of that with your tiny little kitchen? I mean, it couldn't be any bigger than my closet.
Well, a couple things that, like I said prior, is that it's not a disease, it's a blessing to me, is I have ADHD, and I have that mild form of autism, which I've been diagnosed with, I can see things in my mind before they even transpire of what I'm going to do, and I'm not saying that in a creepy way. I'm no ghost
I
reader.
have premonitions.
I'm just a guy that has a vision, and okay, I can do that, I can do that, and then I think about it, and I figure it out. So, one of the biggest challenges that I've ever had was opening this restaurant. And I'm not saying that because it's not easy. It's truly a mental game. So before I opened my restaurant, I worked at a place called Arista. It was a high-end Italian restaurant, downtown Puyallup. Yeah. Some of the best food I've ever had,
nice.
And Ben's a great chef. Did the best he could, and unfortunately he had to close. He had some things come through, and it just wasn't setting right with him, so he moved on. So I was unemployed for the 39th time.
Right.
And
it's a pretty high number.
I started eating at a restaurant called Little Jerry's, which is in my old neighborhood where I grew up, was Fern Hill. That's my elementary school. I know don't want to be too long on the podcast here, but I went to Fern Hill Elementary School right there. One big rock skip, and you're there. Yeah. And Baker Junior High. So Tony had the restaurant there. He was open for a couple months, and where I'm at now, and it was called the Annex, a production of Little Jerry's, which that's a great name, great model. Yeah. But Tony is a very amazing, great man, and he knew he was stretching himself too thin trying to run both restaurants by himself. So, sorry. He offered it to me, and I took it in June 2016. I was like, I'll start saving money, and I'll open this year. Let me get some ducks in a row and see what happens. So I worked 2 jobs for about 7 months, raised enough money to open the restaurant, and then I get a phone call December 19th, 2016, saying that the Lord has taken my mom. Black ice got her out in Shelton.
Jeez.
So
terrible.
Devastating blow. I don't have any backing. I don't have any loans. I'm not looking for any help money wise, because I'm that guy. If I can't do it on my own, I'm not going to ask somebody to help me. So told Tony cancel the restaurant. I'm not going to open. I told him I'm taking all the money I have. I'm going to give my mom the best service a son can give his best friend, and shook hands, and that was that. Yeah. The dream was gone. But about 3 weeks later, I get a phone call from a friend of mine who also I went to Fern Hill School with, and said, hey, Shawn, it's Jeremy. Hey, sorry about your mom, and how much would it cost you to open that little cafe? And I'm like, no, don't ask me that. And I got really emotional. Yeah. And he says, no, I'm serious. I'm a huge Hawaiian real estate developer, and I've got some large bonuses coming. And I finally gave him a number, and he didn't even hesitate, and he said, done. Wow. And cut me a check and said, don't pay him back. Whoa. So I opened my restaurant February 25th with somebody else's blessing. Yeah. On February 25th, 2017 was my opening day, and I was a 10 to 6 lunch ladies for cafe, or Lunch for Ladies Cafe is what I wanted to do, because my mindset thinking, and trying to market what I want to bring into the restaurant was, I know a lot of guys, not to say that guys don't like to eat, but a lot of guys don't like to go to eat and lunch. They like to get their work done. They like to do that. The women like to bring their men to lunch. So I was catering to women, which took off great.
Sure.
It was,
makes sense. That's a good demographic there.
Right. So I was between the hours of 10 and 2. It was great. But after 2, it everything just it was slow.
Yeah.
Because just the demographic area was just bad.
Right.
So me, right before I opened this restaurant, I took a walk through, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? I have a sink, I have refrigeration, I don't have any ovens, and I have a steam table.
Yep.
So me going back on what I used to do in my 39 jobs,
right.
I remembered cooking at omelet bars. I remember doing the omelet station when you go to a hotel or a resort or just a restaurant that has an omelet bar. Well, guess what they have? They've got 2 butane burners, and that was all you needed for omelets. Yeah. So me being a very great cook, I was like, you know what? I can make some breakfast. Yeah. What am I thinking?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if I'm not seeing the people after 2:00. Why don't I try to do something?
What about before?
Yeah, what if I try to do something different than try to do the lunch thing?
That's smart.
So I went ahead and I purchased an oven, because I wanted to do some fun stuff. Yeah. And I've still got my 2 burners. So I put a post on my Facebook that Tibbitts at Fern Hill is now going to be offering breakfast. Yeah. And lunch.
Totally remember that.
Yeah. And I had to go next door because I appreciate Tony. I appreciate him giving me the opportunity to be there. And I don't want to take away from him. Yeah. But I was like, look, I'm going to do something totally different than you, than anywhere in Tacoma. Yep. I'm not going to do safe food. Not to say that people in Tacoma do safe food, because people.
But there's a lot of safe food.
There is a lot of safe food, and there's a lot of talent in Tacoma. Yeah. Where people want to reach out and do their own thing, but sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah. People try, and you know what I mean. Me, I just got lucky at that time in life, where I was to do something different. Right. And the other big thing too is that I try to source with all the local farmers, the small businesses, Healthy's Honey Hive, Wild Wheat Bakery, my runners that come back and forth from Storino Farms, Wild Hair, Northern Fish and Blue Max, just keep it small, keep it local. Don't have a big truck pull up, you know. A lot of places you go, you'll see Cisco pull up, or you see FSA pull up, and you get some really good vegetable, trucks, that pull up, but they're not local. Right. They're Charlie's. Yep. Which I love Charlie's. Yeah, Charlie's is a great company, but it's California produce. Yep. And that's not local. Not to knock anything, but some of these big restaurants can't get anything but that because these smaller farms can't, give to demand for these big restaurants that are just lighting it up, So us little guys have to, figure out what we're going to do, but I want to support small. So
well, farm to table is such an interesting concept right now. I mean, I think that's only been around in the publicity that it's had only in the last 5 or 10 years. Yeah. That has really gained traction. Right. But that's really interesting that everything is sourced locally. So if you're, all of your dishes, which are, I've had pretty much all of them, it's really interesting to know that those are all coming locally.